Hey everybody, this is Cody Jinks. Welcome back to episode 5 of Late August Sessions. If you notice a change of scenery, there's a couple of different reasons. We have Gibson here behind us. We also have Sweeney instead of all the sweaty, nasty guys we've had come in off the road here. First of all, Sweeney, I'm so glad to see you.
Oh, you too. Me too.
It's been a long time.
I know.
My old friend, my touring buddy. Gosh, man, a lot of road time. A lot of stories, a lot of songs to talk about, and we're going to dive into that. But a big special thank you to Gibson for letting us do this in the Gibson garage. I'm really having a what the hell are we doing here kind of scenario going through my mind because...
with all the guitars.
Well, it just Gibson saying, yeah, come on over and do this. And we're like, we really don't know what we're doing. But
it is a beautiful backdrop, my God. There's
really,
so many guitars everywhere.
Really, really, really cool. So we're excited to be here. So thank you guys. But, okay, my gosh, there's so much to talk about. And this is a songwriter show about songwriting. So these are my notes because I'm professional and I do my research even when it is concerning my friends. My fellow Texan, Sweeney, born in Houston, grew up in Longview. I like to cover all the things that they can go find out wherever. But you first pursued an acting or comedy career, but you do have a musical background as far as your grandfather, your stepfather. You started writing after college, but told your parents you were going to finish school first. Mm-hmm. You will not release the name of your first band.
No.
I've had some pretty funny ones so far, and I'm going to say that I know it, but I was told in confidence that I wouldn't even make her say it.
You can say it. I don't care.
It's bad. It's the worst one we've had so far. Sonny's Weenies.
So bad.
That's really, really awful. That rivals my first band, Cooter. So that's...
We could have played a double bill.
Oh my God. Fleetwood Mac changed your life, and we will talk about songwriting because I know how much of an influence just me and you sitting and talking. But first off, where you're from, where I'm from Texas, and I guess from the South. How has being from Texas shaped your sound? What was it that what is it that makes Sweeney sound? Because you and Delby have your own sound.
Well, we're from like the same area of Texas too, so I don't know if the same radio stations were there where you were as I had in Longview, but there's only now there's more, but growing up there was only 3 stations and they were all country. And KYKX was my favorite station because you could call in and talk to the DJs and hit record on the tape and you could hear yourself ask for the song. Mm-hmm. And that's back when DJs were the shit, you know what I mean? Where they would just actually break artists and stuff. And so when I decided to do this as a job, I had already been in theater and I had already done musical theater and all that. And all the teachers that I'd had were like, you'll never make it anywhere with that accent. You can't, you're going to have to lose your accent. I'm like, well, I'm from East Texas, even more so than just Texas.
If you're from Texas, you know that East Texas is its own thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And my accent is not going anywhere. You know what I mean? And so I sadly, when I was in theater, went and tried to do a standardize my English class. And the teacher was kind of like, this is not worth it. You are definitely not a candidate for this. And so I just kind of embraced it. And then when I got, my band going, the only thing that I could sing was country because of my accent. It would sound ridiculous if I tried to sing something else. So that's honestly it's just how when I opened my mouth to sing, that's just what happened.
Yeah.
So.
The songwriting thing, obviously, main focal point, but the musical theater thing and the just the other forms of being on stage,
mm-hmm.
Obviously you're a great songwriter, but that experience, I tell people a lot, there's not a lot of difference between us and stand-up comics, and you've actually...
I did improv comedy, for a very brief moment in another time in my life. I cannot imagine that really actually happened. It was so fun. But it also really, really, really helped learning to, I don't need to tell you any of this, but I'm telling people listening to this, but playing in those bars in Texas where there's nobody in there except one drunk guy in the back and a wife beater, and he's hammered in the back, and you just have to learn to play to him. And when there's you know what I mean? If there's one guy at the show, he still paid money to be there. Do you know what I mean? If there's 1,000 people at the show, they paid money to be there. And I really think that the improv thing helped, because holding down a bar like that, it was an invaluable part of how I ended up doing what I'm doing. And like, kind of, I realized that I do talk a lot on stage, but also it's just what I do. And I feel very comfortable doing that. And there's two pretty giant artists that have told me before, like when I've played shows with them, they're like, afterwards, you realize you just talked to 20,000 people like you're in their living room. And there's an art to that. So, I mean, there's been people that have told me to stop doing that. And I don't think that I ever will, because I know that it ingratiates people to you, to make them think like, oh, she's on stage, but also she's just telling a story. You know, she's just acting like we're just sitting here in the living room talking. And I like that. I would like that in an artist. If I went and saw them, it would make them feel like human, where you can feel like you relate to them, you know?
Well, it's the storytelling aspect of it.
Exactly.
Like you're oftentimes what you do in between the songs is as important. Your setup for a song isn't like, it doesn't give the song away. You're very good at that, and not everybody can pull that off. You're very good at it. You're easy to listen to on stage. Your show translates very well, and I think that is you. It wouldn't be you if it weren't.
I think so too.
That is part of the songwriter in you.
I think so too. And I have had, like I said, plenty of people in my past and my path that have said, well, it would be more of a show if you would stop talking so much. And I'm like, Loretta Lynn talks her ass off, you know, and like she was my queen, you know, and honestly, her telling the stories before, like I remember seeing her at Stubbs one time in Austin. Like I saw her so many times. I don't even remember how many times I saw her, but like this was at Stubbs, and I remember we were sweating. Like everybody was so hot. I hate sweating. And I remember it was like 100 degrees outside. She walks outside in this like full body, you know, high neck, turtleneck, sequined dress that probably weighed 75 pounds. And I'm bitching about wearing a tank top and jeans, you know, like she was sweating. I promise you she had back sweat. And she was just out there acting like she was in the Antarctic, like or Arctic, whatever you call it, the Arctic Circle. She was just acting like it was cool as hell out there. And she's telling these stories, and she goes into the intro to Fifth City, and she's telling the story 50 years after she wrote the song like it was yesterday. And then she said, I dare that woman to come over and talk to me now. Like she's acting like it's present day. And like that really made an impression on me as far as like setting songs up, telling a little bit behind, a little bit of backstory, but then also letting people understand that they can take what they want from it.
Well,
So.
because there's people in the audience that are going through that right now. That is their life right
I
now.
know.
Yeah.
Tell that bitch to come over here.
Yeah, so it's, you know, so
Yes.
that's why she translates, you know. So, okay, but one thing I did want to hit on that you said, and amen for saying it, is that you have to be able to learn how to play for one person. And if you, I tell people all the time, you don't learn how to play in front of 500 people or 5,000 people. You learn how to play in front of five. You know,
they're probably your mom and dad or two of them.
More oftentimes, or the in-laws, or your best buds, or you know, things like that. As far as your method for songwriting, what is your madness? Is there madness? Do you do this first, that first, this first, or does it just blah? Do you write multiple songs at once? Do you have dry periods?
I mean, I always wrote by myself until I started coming to Nashville, and I had this friend of mine that really, really heavily influenced me and said, you really need to figure out how to go there, because that's where the world's greatest songwriters are. And put this like idea in my head, and I was broke like it is nobody's business. And I took out a loan because I realized like I can't take the time to drive there every week or every month, because that takes up 2 days of your time right there, and then you're exhausted the next day from driving all day. So I was like, I've got to fly. I've got to figure out how to do this. So I went by myself and went and got a loan, which I had never done before, and enough for a year to go to Nashville once a month and by myself and stay at the Best Western on Demonbreun. And I would go there for a week every single month. And I would drive myself around town. I went to BMI first and introduced myself. And there was a guy named Mark Mason that worked there. He was very sweet and he took me under his wing. He introduced me to a lot of people. And then I would just go to writers' nights and like meet people and go up, and thank God, like the times were so different then. But you could actually go to a writer's round and be like, hey, I'm an upcoming artist. I'd love to write with you sometime. And there were a lot of people that took me up on it. And some of those people I still write with now. And my circle it grew a lot. And I had a ton of people I would write with. But then my time got a little bit more constricted with all the stuff that I have on my plate currently. And so my writing time has gone down, but it's more compact. Like it's like I write with who I know we're going to get good songs with. And it's more like I have maybe 6 or 7 people I write with. Mm-hmm. And it's like every time we can go in with an idea, with a tempo that we need, or with the type of song that we need, and it come out with it. Yeah. So that's kind of what I do. But I mean, I always have notes running on my phone, ideas, and I have a page with 2 of my co-writers that I write with, a page of notes with just their names on it, because I know that like certain ideas will go better with certain writers. It's not that I can't write by myself anymore. I really love co-writing now, because once you get past the fear of writing with someone else, which everybody has to co-write or has to write by themselves to know the fear of co-writing. Yeah. But once you get past that and realize that like everybody's going to say stupid stuff, you know what I mean? And just that's half the battle is being okay with saying stupid stuff, because also some really great stuff comes out of that.
Yes. Oh gosh. Yeah. Cause that leads to the vulnerability question that I'll get to in a second. But similarly, I started writing by myself and really grew to love the process of co-writing. But like you, I have probably 5, 6, 7 people that, mm-hmm. but I'll have an idea too and be like, that's a so-and-so song. Mm-hmm. I'll call them up and be like, hey, I got this idea, this song. But saying the stupid things and getting all the I'm not even gonna say they're bad ideas, because I tell everybody, because when I'm in the studio, I tell the band, I want to hear the first thing that comes to your head. Mm-hmm. Like when we're in there recording, like I want, like, what's the first thing that comes to your head? I want, it's like there's no stupid questions or bad ideas. I want to hear them all, because a lot of times that vulnerable stuff turns into something beautiful that you didn't intend it to.
Yeah.
Be. And I've been a fan of yours for a long time. I probably can still sing most of the Trophy record if you put it on right now, which is funny. But it's kind of like me singing Jose Cuervo. Did I kiss all the cowboys? Did I? Chick songs are funny. Mm-hmm. All right, you'll kick my ass for saying shit.
I'll take him out. Don't worry.
She's the baddest of the bad right there too. But do you write? You write as from the heart as you just have the gift of being able to. I love sad songs, and you are just one of the queens of it. Can you be too vulnerable in a song?
According to some people, yes. Why on earth would you open yourself up to this? And I was like, well, because I've been at a point in my life where I'm a music fan first and foremost, and I've used music to get me through life, like listening to other people's music, and realizing that some of the people that I'm a fan of, I can honestly say there has been some times where I've been so down. I don't know what would have happened if I wouldn't have had that music. Do you know what I mean? Like, to get me through certain times. I always look at it like it's easier for me to write what I know, which is what Loretta Lynn told me to do. Like, I hate name dropping, but I actually asked her, like, can you give me some advice? Mm-hmm. And she literally said the words, write what you know. And I was like, that better not be all she gives me. Because, like, I have her cornered. Like, I need to know what this woman thinks. Yeah. And then she waited for a minute and she said, I said, write what you know. And really, that's what I've taken to every writing appointment with me. I can't help that my marriages have fallen apart, or I can't help that, certain things have happened in my life that have inspired songs, or like shit situations have happened, or great situations have happened, or whatever. I do write what I know. And the people that I write with, I feel like understand what I have to say. I'm not asking other people to cover my songs. That's the way I look at it. If someone wants to, that would be fantastic. But like, and there have been a couple examples of that, but like, for the most part, I'm writing for myself and for fans to have something to be like, oh, she's standing in solidarity with me. She's been through what I've been through, And unfortunately, a lot of marriages end, and a lot of my songs happen to be about that. But I mean, this business is hard enough. And then you add, a kind of a rocky situation in on top of that, it's not going to last. It's not. So then you write songs about it.
Well, and like you said, this business is hard. That kind of leads me to whenever we play, I might have a special request for you later.
Okay.
Knowing your catalog as I do. But, I mean, diving into just the nuts and bolts, and heavy content matter. One of my favorite songs from you is Unsaid. And it's because, like I said, I love sad songs, and I know what that song's about. And not to bring up painful things, but it hits what I was asking you about, the vulnerability. You are truly one of those songwriters, because I'm the same way. When you walk up there and you're up there singing a song that you might have been crying while you were writing, you were walking up on stage and pulling your pants down and just giving it everything that you've got, and you write like that. On the flip side of that coin, though, you have a lot of funny songs too, which is also very hard to pull off because it's usually funny or very, very sad.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 2 tattoos here. I have the sock and the busk and the happy face and the sad face, because that's kind of what
you have to be able to do both. In my opinion, because I consider myself having a decent personality, and like I like laughing a lot, and that's one of my favorite things to do, like laugh with my friends, make stupid jokes with my friends. And if I can, it's one thing making a fan laugh, but if I can actually make one of my friends laugh, all of our friends are mostly in the music business, and if they're doing the exact same thing I'm doing, and I can make one of my friends laugh that actually does what I do, then I feel like, oh. Now, then, especially like at a song swap, and then you'll be like, oh, really? Okay, watch this. And then you go back and forth. I love song swaps for that reason, because then what they do reminds you of a song. You're like, oh, I'll do this one. And then what you do reminds them of a song. And just like going with the, flow of how it goes. And do a sad one, then do a funny one, then do a drinking one, then do, where they all inspire the next song.
I'm the same way. It's kind of like take them on a ride.
Mm-hmm.
Hit them with a couple of sad ones, and then just pop them with, some up-tempo, fun, kind of stuff like that. It's important. People, the old term, buy the ticket, take the ride.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're wanting. They're wanting your life, your emotions. They're wanting your ups and your downs. And our job as entertainers and as songwriters is to translate that every day. Because there's days I'm in a great mood, and I'm sitting there thinking, man, I'm playing this really sad song. And then there's days that just,
barely hanging on.
I barely got my ass on stage. I had an anxiety attack,
Mm-hmm.
and I got to walk out there. And our first song right out of the gate is a rocker.
Mm-hmm.
So it's weird, because we were talking even before we started about the emotions and what we do as creative people, and having to translate that through your own songs. And that's what makes a songwriter uniquely a songwriter and not just a performing artist.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I would. And honestly, I kind of think it's all one, but I feel like it's not just like you can just do one or the other. You kind of have to commit to doing everything. You have to commit to, I have plenty of friends that are songwriters that are like, oh my God, I would rather die than stand on stage with a band. I hate drums. That's fine. Totally fine. Do your thing. I'll do my thing. But like, for what I want to do, I like thinking that I can do all of the facets of what I feel is, what I perceive is required of me to be an artist and a songwriter and a, somewhat funny person on stage, like an entertaining person. Like the biggest compliment someone can give me is when they say, I laughed and I cried at your show. That is fantastic. That is exactly what I wanted. Thank you. I'm sorry that you cried, but also yay. You know?
I love that as well. Yeah, I love, and this is how weird I am. I love having, looking over and seeing somebody laughing at a song and somebody crying at a song.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds weird, but I have some sad songs that are more upbeat. So
Mm-hmm.
some people just like the music, so they're like rocking out to the thing. But it's like lyrically, it's really sad. So
Mm-hmm.
seeing the different emotions for different people is,
Your song Headcase,
yeah,
that song has like great tempo to me, but it is like, for me, because I have struggled with mental, health and all the things, anxiety and depression, all the things. That song hit me like hard.
Yeah.
And I love that song. But it's like not, if I would have taken that title, like that's a difference in songwriters, because you wrote that by yourself, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But if I would have taken that title, I would have made it really slow, but you didn't. You made it like super like what's that word? Syncopated and like
Kind of bounces.
yeah, I
Yeah.
love it. And
Yeah.
and it has a whole different, it may be my favorite song of yours actually, but like it takes the idea of what I take from it. And that's the thing. That may not have been what you were talking about, but I took that as a fan of music. Like that's the beautiful part about music. It's so subjective. Like I can take whatever I want from any song if it's going to relate to me. And anyway, I love that because it makes me feel like, oh, somebody else understands what's going on in this stupid brain of mine.
Yes, I've had several writers that have heard that song. That
It's really good.
Thank you, but that's one of the ones, and I don't mind touching on mental health at all because that's it's cathartic for us as songwriters, and that's part of the deal is when people come up to you and say, I mean, listen, as a country singer, you and I both, how many times has somebody walked up and be like, you've been following me around, you're singing about my life, all that kind of stuff. But to have somebody walk up and be like, Headcase, and it's like, oh yeah, you get it, you're crazy too, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, you're a nut job?
You're
Okay,
you're
cool.
a nut job too. I mean, like, so it's something that it's uniquely ours as songwriters and artists. You don't get that part of it without.
It's a double-edged sword.
It is. It's like Edgar Allan Poe has one of my favorite quotes. It's not verbatim, but there's not exquisite beauty without some strangeness in the equation.
Exactly.
And it's
You have to be a little quirky. You have to, and you don't have to be, but I mean, the majority of my friends who happen to all mostly be musicians, we're all a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
And we also, I mean, you and I have talked about this, but like even growing up, you were also kind of like a nerd. We were all nerds. You know what I mean? And like you just focused on your entertainment side of your life, like kind of picturing yourself vision, like in a vision or like have a vision of yourself as an adult. And you knew kind of internally that you wouldn't always be, little glasses nerd. Like we were both like, we've shared photos.
We have seen pictures of
each other's
when we were children.
Yes.
It's yeah.
Let's just say we would have been friends when we were in
Sonny
sixth
had
grade.
some hair that went up about this high, about 90.
Oh, it was so bad.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was a waterfall bang. But like there's plenty of those kinds of people, and I feel like as adults you grow into being what you wanted to, envision yourself as being, but then that comes with a little bit of, also I have major anxiety.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's just part of the deal.
It is part of the deal, but golly, yeah, you just said everything. Like that was all verbatim. And we've talked about all this before, and it's hard to explain to people, what it is that we do. It's easier when it's like, because people can watch this show and be like, yeah, okay, I get it. But that kind of leads me to what you do reaching people with songwriting. Do you have a hard time doing that sometimes? Is it still fun to write? Is it like, I need to write? How much is writing a job versus what just comes out naturally now?
I literally love my job more than I've ever loved anything on planet Earth. And that is why, even on the roughest of the rough, horrible, no good, terrible, most awful day, I still get to do this for my job. I don't have to sit at a desk. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would fail miserably. And then my friend told me once, well, if you had to, you would. I said, of course, if I had to, I would.
Sure.
You have to support yourself. But also at the same time, nothing compares to this job. It's my favorite. I feel so blessed. And I hate saying the word blessed because it seems like so trite and cliche. But like, I literally feel so blessed that I get to do this. I can't believe. Sometimes when I'm just driving around, going to a gig, I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like, we just got back from Europe for a month.
Yeah.
What? Because I learned to play guitar? What?
Yeah.
Like, what? Because, I never thought I'd leave East Texas. I wanted to. And I knew there wasn't a big enough airport to do anything. You had to go to the Gray County Airport and then fly to Dallas or Houston and then go somewhere. But, like, I just never thought. I wanted it. I just never thought it was possible. And I had these big plans to go to like theater college, and I wanted to go to this college called Emerson, and it was out of state tuition. And my parents were like, "Have you lost your mind? No, we're not paying for that. So you can go somewhere in state." And I did. I went to UT, and then left there, and then ended up at Southwest when I came back, and it's now called Texas State, but it's Southwest to me. But anyway, I mean. Yeah, this is our job. So no matter how bad it gets, it's still the best job on the earth.
Yes.
Really.
I say that at every show. Like in between when we walk off, come back for encore, I usually come back out and say usually something along those lines.
Yeah.
Like, thank you guys. We get to do this because
there's people that listen to you.
Because there's people that you believe in our songs.
Uh-huh.
You're living them like we lived them, and we are your good time. We get to do this for a living. I like to say it that way.
Yeah, and I mean, even on like days when I'm tired and I don't want to schedule a writing appointment like a month in advance or something, and I wake up because I didn't get any sleep, and I'm like, shit, I wish I could just cancel today. I'm like, no, these people also took time out of their day to schedule you into their life.
Mm-hmm.
So go get yourself some coffee, you jerk, and get up and go write a song. And sometimes those are the best songs where they're, pre-scheduled appointments. I never knew you could schedule creativity, but evidently you can.
Yeah.
And you've gotten some really cool songs out of those writing appointments.
Okay. This kind of goes back to maybe something I touched on. What's the best advice you can give somebody that's wanting to do this?
Run as fast as you can. Just kidding. I'm kidding.
Just talking about how much we love this job.
I'm kidding.
And then, no, don't do it.
No, I would say seriously be prepared for the most pain you've ever had in your life. And be prepared for rejection. There's a lot. I feel really, really fortunate that I have been able to have conversations with some young women that are doing this business now. For some reason, they ask me their opinion, and I don't know why they would want it, because I still don't know what I'm doing. But they ask, for advice, and I'm just like, first of all, get a band. Get a band. I don't care how you have to pay for it. Mm-hmm. Get a band. Mm-hmm. Don't use this pickup shit every single time. Get a band. Get a guitar player and a drummer and a bass player. That's all you need. Yeah. Get a band. And start touring. If you have to book yourself, I still have the email, but I had a fake person email that I booked myself under because nobody would take me seriously.
We used to do that.
Yeah, I had a guy there whose name shall remain nameless, but there was a man that had such an impact on me that was a booking agent in College Station. He hurt me so bad. He was so rude to me. He literally said, "We don't have women play at our bars." This was in 2001. He would have had his ass chewed by now if he would have said that now. But I remember his name. I have it written down in gold plate for my book one day because I'm not changing names when I write my book. And he's the one that it lit the fire under me. And I was like, I'll make a fake email, and it's easier to sell yourself if you're someone else. So you're not sitting there, I'm Cody, I'm great, I need to play at your bar.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
you're able to be someone else to talk about. And I started getting gigs that way. So I kept it. I still have the email. If I ever don't want to talk to someone, my person will send an email.
Yeah.
You know?
I had an email set up like that for a long time ago. And then Josh, our longtime bass player, we figured out, because he and I ran everything for like 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
And we figured out that if Josh called and said, hey, this is Josh Thompson with Cody Jinks, and we were going to talk, I'd like to talk to you about, it made a lot of difference.
Yeah.
Just because they're like, oh, this is official. This isn't just the same.
It's not Cody selling himself.
Well, yeah, no, it was our broke-ass bass player. They didn't know that.
Exactly.
So that
no, but that's great.
What you have to do.
And that's the advice I would give, is just you have to do what you have to do and play as much as you possibly can.
Absolutely. That's still and not to take away from how people do things today, but it goes back to what you're saying. You learn how to play for a few people in a bar, the 3 or 4 hour set, which is
4 or 5 hour set,
which is getting back to that before we started recording. I saw you play for the first time almost 20 years ago, and you don't remember this. And all the years that we've toured together and been friends, I have never told you this story.
I am so nervous about this right now.
But I told you, if it makes anybody look bad, it's going to make me feel bad.
Those are my rough years. Okay.
I was bartending. This was like 2004, 2005, something like that.
Was this at the White Elephant?
Yeah, I was bartending at the White Elephant.
Shit, my heart's beating fast. Okay, go ahead.
And this is a long time ago. So Sonny comes in and she sets up. She was very nice. And I have a lot of stories from a lot of musicians I met that came through that bar, that when I was bartending, that I'm like, oh, that was really a nice person, and that was really not a nice person. We won't get into that. You were. But I remember at the end of the night, you played. It was a great night. I remember at the end of the night, and I had to write in our little book every day what the sales were, how the artist was, how the day was. If I screwed anything up, I'd like give a little report for the end of the day. And it got to the part where I was writing about the artist. This is a true story. And I'm like, something like the East Texas really comes through, sounds like a female Dwight Yoakam.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
I didn't know if that was good or bad.
That's awesome. Okay, I loved Dwight Yoakam.
I always wondered, like, since like 20 years ago, if that would have been offensive to you.
No, I loved
too.
Dwight Yoakam.
Yeah.
His new album transports me to Guitars Cadillac.
It sounds really
so good.
Really good.
Real quick, one thing I remember about the White Elephant, this is so gross. I cannot believe that I'm about to say this on camera. They had a shot there that I would get every time I came in there called a duck fart. I don't know why. I've never heard of it before, but it's literally...
I never made one.
I mean, that's literally what it was called. I don't know why I remember that.
Duck fart.
A duck fart.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just randomly something that just popped into my head.
Oh my gosh.
About the White Elephant.
That's really funny.
Yeah. I played a lot of nights there when it was probably just the bartender.
Well, there was. I remember you playing there several times. I mean, that was back when like 10 years past was your earliest stuff. You know, you were playing that. So no, it was really fun for me to be able to get to be around this, because I was trying to get my foot in the door as a songwriter. I was doing song swaps and writers rounds and things of that nature at that time, and you were coming up at that time, and yeah, that was 20. I don't know why I never have told you that story.
It was a very big compliment.
I think I was actually afraid to but I didn't know.
Never be afraid of Dwight.
Yeah, or Sonny.
Or me.
Let's see. Let me ask you this. I guess maybe you answered this question because you get to do this for a living, but you're the consummate. You're a road dog. I've been on record saying this in interviews. I don't know anybody that goes harder than you do. I mean, or has consistently for as many years.
I'm looking at him.
Well, and I think that's probably why, because nobody went harder than we did, and you went just as hard as or harder than we did. Like that's something that Josh and I always looked back and prided ourselves on, is how hard we did it. And you were out there, and here's a situation. This is where the old friend. I really do try to keep this professional, but and this is where old friends start shining through. We won't name anybody. We won't name any names. But I remember getting a phone call from you one day. And this is just songwriter to songwriter, Texan to Texan, whatever you want to call it. And this was several years ago, and years after we had met, but had been friends for some years. And you called me and you said, "Have you ever heard of this band?" And I said, "I'm not going to name any band." I said, "No." You go, "Well, there's some sensationalized story about how these guys have been around for years and years and years. And I pretty much think they just made all that shit up." And I go, "Yeah, I've been hearing about this particular band." He goes, "Let me tell you something. Over the years, everywhere I go, I see Cody Jinks posters and signs, and you see Sweeney posters." I was like, "Yeah,
You would have crossed paths with someone that's claiming to have been on the
playing
road.
the places that you and I had been beating the hell out of for years and years."
Well, one little side note to that story is I have a serious defect, and I have what do you call it, an Excel sheet. I quit doing it like in 2016, but from my first gig until 2016, I had every single gig written down that I ever did, ever. And I'm talking like, even if it was like driving to your mom's house to play a gig, like if I drove to do work, I wrote it down, and I added up the amount of one day when I was drinking by myself at home, and I took the time to add up how many hours and how many miles I had driven.
Yeah.
It was nowhere close to that, what you're talking about. And it made me just mad because it's just a fabrication when it boils down to it, And that's fine. They can do whatever they want. But like for me, it's kind of like I want, whatever it's called, recognition for actually doing that,
To me, that's the success that I'm talking about. And that's how, I don't know how you measure success, but that's how I measure it. It's like the longevity.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you've been out there just hitting it so hard, the believability, the songs that you write, the show that you put on, the fact that you whenever you go to a Sonny Sweeney show, you're like, "Yeah, I believe." That's my thing in this business. If I don't believe you,
and that's why I want to write songs that are about my life, because I feel like if I was trying to sell a song to a crowd that was just some made up thing, you would see through it. That's just my opinion. But I mean, I like writing songs that I feel like are true, or could be true. It doesn't have to be about me. You could tell me a story about your life and I could write it first person and say that it was me. Do you know what I mean? Like every song isn't about me particularly, but they are something that I felt a connection to.
Yeah.
And wanted to write a song about.
Well, and it translates to us, because my personal favorite song that you've released is "Grow Old with Me."
Oh, I remember you and your wife told me y'all loved that.
Rebecca and I love that song. Unsaid, that's a different thing, tearjerker, stuff like that. But "Grow Old with Me," that's an example of, it's just such a beautiful song. It's so well written.
Thank you.
Yeah, and
it's about my dog. It's a love song to my dog.
Let's talk about your dog, Sonny. You want to talk about Doug?
I do.
It's that time. Sonny and I are related.
We are very closely related.
Sonny, could you?
Okay, so I have a son that's a dog named Doug. And Doug is almost 9 years old, 8.5 years old. And Cody's mother meets my son, dog. And she was like, "I'm obsessed with your dog. Can you tell me where you got your dog?" And I was like, "Yeah." Now keep in mind, they live 6 hours from where I got my dog. And his mother, the next week, I think, called the place where I got my dog and went to the place and got my dog's like half sister or something, which consequently, because that would his mother's dog would be Cody's half sister, and since his half sister and my son are half sisters, Cody's my half brother. That's how we're related. Isn't that crazy? Small world, isn't it?
Don't know that. That's a true story. But
and your dog, your mom's dog's middle name is my name.
it is. It's my mom's name. Dog's name is Ubu Sweeney Jinks.
Mm-hmm.
That is a.
It was the biggest compliment I've ever had in my life.
It is, and we were down for Thanksgiving, and Sonny always comes up, at Thanksgiving because Ubu's running around. We have to talk about the dogs, and so there's that story. That's how we're related, guys. Side note. Let me ask you this: what is your, let's say, least favorite song to play live, or most favorite song to play live that you've written?
My least favorite song to
But
play
you
live.
have to know. You have to play the song every night.
I know the answer. My least favorite song to play live is "From a Table Away," and there's a reason. It was from a different point in my life. It was from.
It's a great song.
Thank you. I love the song. Yeah. I'm very proud of that song. And I know people buy a ticket to my show to hear that song, so I do always sing that song. But Bob Seger hates playing old time rock and roll. Mm-hmm. And I've seen it firsthand. Like, I've watched his crowd go absolutely ape when the intro to that song starts. But that song was just from a different point in my life, and it was from major record label, and it's just a different point in my life, mm-hmm. And it brings up bad memories, and just one of those songs. I will always sing it. Mm-hmm. But, I tried for about 3 months to not sing it, and there was outrage on social media. And
been there.
Yeah. And they'd be like, I paid $20 to come see her, and she didn't even play that song. And that's why it's so important on the songs you choose to record and put out. Because if you don't want to sing a song, you should definitely not record it, because people will they'll gravitate towards a song, maybe not even one you put out as a single.
Oh yeah.
And then be like, oh crap, I have to sing this for the rest of my life.
Yes.
So that's the song. It's hard. It's just one of those, it's not hard to sing. It's just a hard song because it's not, I feel like there's so much more to my career than just that.
Yeah.
But people like that song, so I'll continue singing it.
Amen. One that you never get tired of playing live, that you like. I might not love playing it every night, but I don't mind playing this song every night.
We do a cover of "Stop Dragging My Heart Around." It's Tom Petty and Stevie Nicks. I freaking love singing that song. It's so fun to sing. But like, one of my own that I never get tired of singing is "Staying's Worse Than Leaving." Mm. And the reason behind that is because there's a lot of people that have said, mostly I feel like this is a compliment, even though it's a bad situation, but men and women have said to me, hearing that song got me out of an abusive relationship. Oh, wow. And that's not what it was about. That was absolutely nowhere even close to what it was about. It was just about a young love falling apart. And my first marriage just, oops, it sucked, But that has absolutely nothing to do with anything domestic at all. And the fact that there's people that take that from that. And one lady came up to me with sunglasses on at a gig, and she had 2 days before that left, and she, even when she finished talking, she pulled her sunglasses down, her whole eye was black, and she's like, I'm walking the walk, girl. She's like, that's the song that I left for.
That was the last black.
And I got chill bumps just now even saying that.
That's powerful.
I know. And to me, if you can touch one person with one song, then you've done your job. So that's why I'll never get sick of playing that song, though, because I know it really does touch some people.
There's that, but that's the okay. She took that and made that song her own. That's the beauty of you didn't write it about that. It's subjective. That became her song, and there's the silver lining in that story. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about, girlfriend.
That's right.
I love it. as far as co-writing goes, like, who's your favorite person to co-write? Who's been your favorite person to co-write with?
I mean, I have two girls. Erin Enderlin is one of my favorite writers to write with.
Yeah.
And we've got a great thing going where, like, we have pretty much a weekly that we do.
She's awesome.
She's one of my best friends.
She's so awesome.
But we'll write, me and her write a lot together. But then we always bring a third in, either like someone she knows or someone I know. And we have gotten some cool stuff. I think it's because she and I write so well together.
Mm-hmm.
And one particular person is Trisha Yearwood. So Trisha and I asked Trisha if she would be into doing a three-way, me and Erin. She's like, absolutely. And that has turned into a amazing situation, an amazing friendship. She's been a friend of mine for a really long time, but then actually working with her, she's a great writer. Trisha is. And that's been really fun. And then Natalie Hemby's another great, fun writer that I love writing with. And she's more like a therapist. So, like, it's hanging out with your therapist, and actually your therapist is also a musician and songwriter. And it ends up great. We write really well together, I think. So
That's good. I like that. That's good. Hanging out with you. Maybe I should try to write a song with my therapist.
write a song with Natalie. She is a therapist,
I love
think.
it.
Yeah.
Who would you want to write with?
I mean, most of them are dead, but
That's fine.
I mean, Tom Petty.
Yeah.
His melodies were nothing like anything I've ever heard in my life, and they're so freaking simple, and the words are so simple.
Mm-hmm.
Most things I worry about never happen anyway. Like that line from Crawling Back to You. I have it in cross stitching. I bought it on eBay just so that every single morning I can see those words, because I have such anxiety and such stress about life in general. And I'm just constantly like on edge. It's probably how much coffee I drink if you really boil down to what the problem is. And I watch murder documentaries a lot. So of course I have anxiety, but knowing that Tom Petty has a song, he has a song for everything, but that song particularly it's probably my favorite song of all time, honestly.
A master of simple lines and melodies.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Simple is harder than not simple.
Oh, less is more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he was the absolute king at that.
Yeah.
And so probably him.
In your opinion, this can be a there or then or now, best writer going right now. Or I said right now, best writer. Let's go past and present. What do you think?
Honestly, man, damn. There's so many. I freaking love Jason Isbell. I love Southeastern's the best record that has come out in the last 15 years. And it's still one of the best records for my money. But then, like, Lori McKenna as a songwriter, hearing her sing her songs. There's one called Salt. And if you ever hear her sing it live, it will literally cut your heart out with a dull spoon, and just like it's just hanging on by like it's brutal. Like it's so good.
I'm gonna have to have her on the show because she does that a lot.
Oh my God, she is amazing. That's who I wrote "Grow Old with Me" with.
That is it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't.
Yeah, she's
not embarrassed.
She's incredible. Like,
she has my wife is a huge Lori. I am too, but my wife is a really really big fan of hers, and she has a line. I'll walk with you even if it's uphill. And that's Anyway, there's a whole nother rabbit hole.
She's amazing. Yeah.
She's an amazing one. All right, so we're running low on time, and we can just jab on our way out. But I got the little signal. But I know that this happens to most artists. How many times has your name been completely fucked up on a marquee?
God. Dude. The worst one, it wasn't a marquee, but I got a check made out to me one time to Shanti, Shonti. Shanti. They spelled Sweeney right. but Sonny has been spelled every way you could possibly imagine. Onny, Unnie, Unni. And then the best one was at Hank's Grill because
In McKinney.
yeah,
Yeah.
so the guy that ran that, David, he knew about my band, Sonny, you know, my first band name. He put that on the marquee. And this was like 5 years ago or 7 years ago. It was like way 13 years past when it actually was, you know, Sonny's Weenies.
Yeah.
But he put that on there on the marquee. So when you walk in, that's what you see. And he said, "Oh, I just scooted it over a little bit because he could have just moved the other S, you know, back." And so anyway, it was funny. It was very funny. He was funny. Yeah, probably that one. But it was kind of intentional too. So anyway.
Yeah, well, you've been doing it long enough. It's happened a great many times. Golly, we could sit here and tell stories forever and ever. Unfortunately, we only get an hour. But thank you so much for being on the show. I was a fan before I was your friend, and I will always be your friend. We have played a lot of shows together and had a lot of good times together, and many more to come. I just want to thank you very sincerely for your friendship and for you know, the years of being touring buddies and you know, all the good stuff. Thank you so much, Sonny Sweeney, for being on Late August
Thank you
Sessions.
so much for having me.